In the dusty towns and mining camps of the American West, legends were born. Cowboys, outlaws, and lawmen became immortal. But behind the saloon doors and gas lamps lived another kind of pioneer, women whose stories were whispered, scandalized, or forgotten. They were the saloon girls, the soiled doves, and the madams who built empires of vice in a land of opportunity. Mining towns like Deadwood and Virginia City often held 10 men for every woman. In places where women were outnumbered 10 to 1, their presence was as valuable as gold dust. Saloon girls were not necessarily prostitutes. Many were simply paid to socialize, earning a percentage of every drink a man bought them. They would sip ginger ale disguised as whiskey to smile, flatter, and keep the glasses coming. But to the men, their mere presence was intoxicating. In smoky rooms where poker chips clinked and revolvers glinted under oil lamps, a woman's laughter was rarer than gold dust. Saloon owners knew this. A good-looking girl could double the night's profits. And so, young women, many desperate, many alone, found themselves behind the bar or on the dance floor, trading charm for coin. For many, the line between entertainer and prostitute was thin and easily crossed. They were called soiled doves, ladies of the line, painted cats. Society branded them with names that stripped away their humanity. Yet behind every euphemism was a woman, often young, often poor, selling what little she had to survive. Many had been abandoned, widowed, or seduced and left pregnant. Some were immigrants with no money, no family, and no other work available. In the camps of Montana or the saloons of Dodge City, these women were both reviled and relied upon. Reviled for their trade, relied upon for the comfort they provided to lonely men in lonely places. Above them all stood the madam. If the saloon girl sold illusion and the soiled dove sold intimacy, the madam sold an empire. She ran the brothel, managed the girls, and negotiated with lawmen and politicians. Many madams became wealthy, even powerful. They lived in ornate houses with velvet curtains and grand pianos, far removed from the shacks of the miners. They donated to churches, hospitals, and schools, ironic patrons of the very society that condemned them. Some became legends in their own right. There was Mattie Silks of Denver, who ran one of the most lavish bordellos in the Rockies, and was said to be tougher than any man she employed. There was Eleanor Dumont, better known as Madame Moustache, a gambler who charmed men with her wit and outplayed them at cards. And there was Julia Boulette of Virginia City, beloved for her generosity during smallpox epidemics, so beloved that when she was murdered in 1867, the entire town mourned. The madams were pragmatists, entrepreneurs, and survivors. They carved power from the margins. The West had little patience for women who didn't fit its rigid mold. Wives and mothers were honored as builders of civilization. But saloon girls and soiled doves, they lived outside respectability, tolerated only because they were necessary. And yet, towns that condemned them also depended on them. Prostitution funded city coffers through fines and taxes. Brothels supported local economies. Madams were often among the first to invest in theaters, schools, even churches. Mary Coyle, former madam, interviewed in 1910, said,
"They called us sinners, but we built schools, we built hospitals, we helped build the West, though no one writes that down."
For all their resilience, the cost was high. Many soiled doves died young from disease, from violence, or from the slow poison of alcohol and opium. Their graves were often marked only with the word unknown. Saloon girls too often found themselves discarded when their looks faded, with nowhere left to go. And even the most powerful madams could see fortunes vanish overnight, lost to fire, scandal, or the shifting tide of respectable society. The Wild West gave these women opportunities they could never have imagined back east, but it also devoured them. Today, the saloon girl is remembered as a figure of glamour, feathers in her hair, skirts swishing as she dances on the arm of a cowboy. The soiled dove is remembered, if at all, as a tragic curiosity, and the madam as a cunning businesswoman. But behind the caricatures were women of flesh and blood, caught between survival and respectability. Women who lived in a world that gave them few choices, and who nevertheless carved out lives of meaning, sometimes even power. They remind us that the West was never just cowboys and cattle, never just outlaws and lawmen. It was also women, women who endured, who shaped communities, who built empires from the dust. The saloon girl, the soiled dove, the madam. Their stories, long ignored, are part of the true history of the American frontier. The trail ends here, but the legends ride on. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe to chase the next one.